In the last little while, life has probably become very stagnated and a struggle, and things just aren't flowing. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about how to open those power centers that are inherently with you at all times to help you flow life more easily, succinctly, and beautifully. Hi, my name is Pamela Sylvan, and I'm your host today on this edition of Natural Mojo. I'm a vibrancy mentor and coach, and I help women, especially those going through their midlife, get their power back and to brighten up and to spiral up into that energetic high vibe place they once had and might have forgotten all about. You know, we've reached a certain time in our life where we have gone through so much. We might have raised children and gone through major careers and maybe had to handle our aging parents and so forth. And by the time a lot of that is over and we've come through the messiest part of that time of our life, we're tired. We're disillusioned. We might even be jaded and have forgotten that amazing person that we once used to be, that optimistic, hopeful, jubilant, joyful, happy, high energy person we used to be. And all these words that I'm using, you might be thinking, was I ever that person? Yeah, there was a part of you that was, but the burden of life has sort of dampened you down and made you smaller and more fearful as you aged. Now, I'm not speaking for all of you. There are some amazing examples of people in their midlife and beyond that are just so open and have blossomed into their power and their energy. And I'd like to think that I'm one of them, experiencing a great adventure out there and looking to bring on more and more excitement into my life because I have the space. And I've also recognized that I don't have all the time in the world left. So now is the time. While I still have use of all of my faculties and my mobility and my memory isn't totally shot, type of thing. There are days, though, that it's difficult for me to remember where it is I was going and what it is I was thinking next and what I was doing. I think we've all gone through that, haven't we, as we walked around in a little bit of a daze and confusion. But for the most part, we have it going on still. We are all about moving into a place of curiosity and adventure and looking for that next stage of life to be fully in our control as much as possible. And you can do that. We've always had this amazing power with us that I like to call mojo. That's why I call myself the Mojomaker, but we all have this thing called mojo. Call it what you like. You can call it the presence. You can call it, I call mine my beloved magic I am presence. I named my mojo. And anytime I need that additional little burst of power or some exceeding type of help on my behalf, I reach out to this source of energy that is floating through me, just like it's animating you, and it animates everybody in this world. So today I want to discuss, just a sort of very beginning level of discussion, because I only have so much time on this video, how to start thinking in and leaning into this power that, again, I call my mojo power, my beloved magic I am presence. And some of you might be thinking, Pamela, now what nonsense are you talking about? And I'll admit that there was a time in my life that, not that I thought it was nonsense, I knew that this thing and this energy existed, but I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want people to see me as loony or not someone who was to be taken seriously. I was very much about being taken seriously. So anything that sounded like it might be a little bit off the edge or a little bit woo-woo, people like to use that phrase woo-woo, I would leave behind or step aside, or I didn't want anybody to associate me with these terms or with this type of work and this type of talk. So I wouldn't bring it into my circle. I didn't want to be seen as the voodoo queen, especially because of my ethnicity. People would think that I was walking around with chicken bones or something like that. And I thought, as I grew older, I thought, how silly of me to leave my heritage behind, to leave behind what I know to do. I was distracted away by, shame and an inferiority complex and a lack of confidence and worth, and my self-esteem was shot. And I, talked about this in other videos. And if you're anything like me on your journey, it was difficult finding that worth in yourself. I had to work hard at it, and it has been a long journey. But it started back in my early 20s when I recognized that there was something, I was off kilter. I didn't have a name for it, and I onboarded with all kinds of seeking through metaphysical books, seeking through different types of spirituality practices, and also seeking in my own family There were things that the women in my family knew to do. I saw them practicing their spirituality and going to church and reading all kinds of books, and I was curious enough. But still, I was a little bit too shy and unsure of myself. But now that I'm at this age, my middle years, actually I'm past my middle years, and I'm now a junior senior, I'd like to call myself, it's now time to let that kind of thinking go and connect, fully and deeply connect to that part of me that I know and I'm experiencing in little bits and pieces throughout the years. And we call those experiences coincidences. They are not coincidences. They are little flashes of insight into that power within ourselves. We connect to it briefly, and sometimes we might even scare ourselves and frighten ourselves because we touched the light. We experienced the energy, and we became afraid. At least I did. That was my experience when I first started to really connect to this energy and power. I became frightened, and I think even Marianne Williamson, in one of her famous poems, I think she's credited with, that we are not afraid of the dark. We are afraid of our power. We are afraid of the light. And you know what? She's right, because when I started connecting to my power and to my light, I frightened myself. I didn't recognize the enormity of what was with me at all times, and I block it and push it back down. And I think a lot of us have touched this power throughout our lives, and we've either dismissed it, ignored it, whatever we had to do, we've pushed it away, and now we seek help and assistance from outside sources all the time, looking for people to help us with this and help us with that, when we have the ability to heal. We have the ability to find the insights, the answers, and solutions we so desperately seek on a daily basis. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that, and I'm going to continue talking about these topics because this is part of my vibrancy codes that I have now been teaching fervently in the last little while because it's so important. And now that I have a phrase and a name for this, the vibrancy codes, they're so important, especially for us women who have historically pushed aside that power because we were too busy nurturing and making sure everybody else was good. Now it's our time. It's the best time of our life, ladies. So let's get to it. There are two things that I want to bring to your attention. Your root chakra, you know the chakra systems, the seven energy portals that we have in going through our body, starting with the root chakra, going up to our crown chakra, and all points in between. But I'd like to specifically talk about the root chakra, and then also about the pineal gland, which is basically our third eye opening that resides right here. And again, this video is such a short video on this, but I'm going to be extrapolating along the way and pulling out more conversation around those 2 points, the root chakra and the pineal gland, because specifically these are the two areas that I had to work on for me to open and blossom and fully connect to that power in which I live and breathe and have my being. When people ask me how I do what I do and bring in what I bring in, it's these two things, but I don't discuss it openly with everybody, again, because not everybody is ready or prepared to hear this type of conversation. And two, well, you don't throw pearls before a swine. I'm sure you've heard that saying before. So today let's talk about the root chakra and the pineal gland. The root chakra being that part of us which is I would say our pelvic floor area, maybe lower spine in our back area, which if damaged in our early years has unbalanced and destabilized us. And ladies, especially in our younger years, there might have been some instances where you might have been sexually molested or touched inappropriately in some way, which has damaged that area, that stability in your life. And a lot of women, young girls, have gone through this. And not to say men and young boys haven't experienced this phenomena as well, but I know ladies, we sort of take this on en masse, more so than the men. And the men seem to be able to go on, whereas we deal with a lot of shame and guilt and ourselves and our sexuality and our bodies, and we shut down, we close down, and we become that much smaller. And that's where our confidence and self-esteem is affected, and it disconnects us in a certain way. It disconnects us from that power and that energy in which I talk about. And so it's about regrounding ourselves back into a place where we can start to build the energy and the power back, the energy and power in which we lost as children. And there might be times as an adult where it's affected again, not just through your developmental years as a child where you might have been traumatized in some way, but also through maybe later years and you might have experienced some sort of shock trauma as an adult where, again, you've been destabilized and that root chakra has been blocked, significantly blocked. And the thing is, for those of you that are dealing in energy work or light work, you might think that you have moved up into your solar plexus, heart, throat, and into your crown chakra, etc. Meanwhile, your root chakra was never dealt with effectively and remains blocked. So the energy can't circulate the way that it needs to. So you're still working in a very blocked situation. And there might be instances where you're having trouble dealing with things like finances and relationships and confidence and self-esteem. There's just a whole plethora of things that are still not working for you because that part of your energy flow has never been significantly dealt with, hasn't been cleared out, and is not circulating the way that it needs to. The energy needs to flow beautifully through your circuit, okay? And then the next part of this conversation is opening up that pineal gland, that third eye. It's so important. And doing what you need to do to ensure that this is significantly open. Now, I know there are a lot of people that are taking drug experiences like Ashtawanga, I think it's called. I can't think of it. I'll just put the correct spelling there, and DMT and things like that. But I've never not been attracted to psychedelics or that experience. I don't feel that I need to. I feel that I have significant knowledge and information about this. But I had to practice the letting go process, letting go to understand and to feel those experiences. But I must tell you, a lot of my letting go came through my connection with nature. If you've been following me for the last couple of years, you know that I'm a person who experiences nature in a big way. I'm out there for significant amounts of time, and while I'm out there, that's when the letting go happens. That's when this third eye experience comes on board. But for you, if you don't have that opportunity to get out there amongst nature and feel that, maybe experiencing these sort of experiences through DMT, etc., might be something you might want to consider. It's not for me, maybe at least not now anyway. But I know a lot of you might already have gone through and experienced that. But for everybody else, there are other ways, like meditation. If you have been reading books like through authors like Dr. Joe Dispenza, when he talks about becoming supernatural, he's very much about the pineal gland and how to open that. Read Joe's book. It is a powerhouse of information about becoming supernatural. We are already supernatural. It's not about trying to get something. We are that already. It's about the remembering process and going through what you need to go through. The letting go process, the letting go of the heaviness of this world, all that energy that's pervaded our world lately, whether it be on the financial situation, on the health situation, whatever, it has clouded us and distracted us away in such a way that we don't help ourselves anymore. We can't help ourselves anymore. We're running to and fro looking for help, and the help is with you at all times. It's just learning how to open up and clear your systems. Learn how to sleep better. Learn how to relax and dump the stress. Drink better water, eat healthier food, have higher vibration connections and conversations, learn some things that can help you. You are awash in information. You just have to seek. You have to know how to ask the questions. And that's why follow this channel. Follow the natural Mojo approach. I'm talking about vibrancy. This is a high vibration approach to living life. I used to live life the hard way. I don't anymore. I got out of my own way. And people like Dr. Joe Dispenza and the plethora of teachers out there that are talking about this will tell you the very same thing. They didn't create this information. They just plugged into it themselves and now walk the talk. They now live what they teach. They've experienced it en masse. They were able to heal themselves. They were able to heal disease. They were able to heal relationships and heal financial situations. If they can do it, why can't you do it too? All the great prophets and teachers of old have come to us to tell us these things. And we've totally thrown it in the corner. We don't believe it or don't do it. And what we've done instead is we've built monuments unto the teachers. And we're not doing what the teachers told us to do. I decided to do what the teachers brought to us. And it works. And that's all I'm going to say. For those of you that want to know more, you'll connect to me. I'm not going to go on about it. Again, pearls before swine. It's not for everybody. Most people would rather live life the hard, the frenetic, the heavy way. Not used to be me. Not anymore. So, again, let's start this conversation about how to open our power centers. This is just the first go at it. I'm going to keep coming back because this is part of the vibrancy codes that I'm teaching out there about how to switch things up in your life, how to become supernatural, just like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about ad nauseum. And it's not his knowledge. He's taken knowledge that's been sitting there and he's just made it more presentable to people. All you have to do is plug in. Do you want to keep living your life the way that you've been living it? Probably not. All right. I'm here to help serve the people that would like to know a different way, especially now that we're in midlife and we have more time, perhaps more freedom to go after this type of information and plug it into our lives. Okay. So start considering your journey around how you might have been bumped off of your energy path through things that have happened to you in your past, and now your root chakra is blocked and muddied up, and or how you would like to open up your third eye and that pineal gland experience. It's a beautiful thing. Once these things start clicking and flowing, you'd wonder what took you so long, right? But again, no need to feel bad. Now is the time. Things don't come to you until it's ready, and perhaps this is the time. Okay, so subscribe to this channel because like I said, I'm going to be bringing more and more of this information. This is the first go at it. Also, go to mojoresources.ca and sign up for, I have a wonderful download called What If, and it's a list of questions that start you on this process as well, and you'll be on the list and you won't miss anything that I have to offer around this awakening process. It's not difficult. Anybody can do these things if they're ready, if they're prepared, and if they just want to live life differently. Again, my name is Pamela Sylvan, and don't forget, you can find me at mojoresources.ca, and you're invited to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You know what, guys? Life doesn't have to be so tumultuous. It doesn't have to be so difficult. The answer is simple, not always easy because we're easily distracted and we have a problem around belief. But it doesn't have to be that way. So in that case, have a wonderful week and we'll see you again real soon. Okay? Bye-bye.